Roll with it. Lean with it. Rock with it. When we gonna stop with it? Lyrics that mean nothing. We were gifted with thought. Is it time to move our feet? Doing it just by beat it in the speakers up about it. It's hard to make a beat. Wow, this angle's kind of garbage. Garbage. Right, that's actually probably better right there. And all my camera gear just like in the shot. Ah, whatever. It's episode 1. We don't care. We don't care if you don't. I need to manually focus this. That's actually pretty good. Okay, there's too close. There's in focus. Okay, I should be in focus in this shot now. Am I in focus, guys? Just kidding, I'm not on the show. Oh gosh, no, turn off the lights. That ruins everything. That ruins everything. Am I in? Oh, I think I'm in. Is that a flattering shot? Guys, tell me, is it flattering? Is it flattering? Are we flattering? Whoa, what is that sound? Oh my gosh, is my other input on? Oh my gosh, my other input was on and you guys didn't even tell me? Jeez, what is going on with these cords? Man, you guys are really getting the mess of episode 1. I'll tell you what. Like, this is going to be a multi-part series. 10 in the series. No, I'm just kidding. I was feeling like I was in a pretty good mood and I wanted to make some content. And I've been thinking a lot lately about content and how there's just a lot of content that wastes your time and is really useless. So maybe this will be entertaining. Hopefully it'll be helpful to you. Yeah. So anyway, hopefully this will be entertaining to you. Hopefully it'll be helpful to you. Today I'm actually going to talk. So I had this idea that I wanted to talk about books that I've read, that I've liked and learned something from. And maybe I could share in an abridged video why I think you should read this book, why you might be interested in it. That's essentially it. I don't want to waste people's time, so hopefully this is entertaining to you and entertains you, or it actually delivers some type of value to your life and isn't a complete waste of your time. Obviously, dependent on what book I am talking about, it may or may not have any effect on you, or you may not be very interested, whatever. So you can probably tell by the title of this video that this is a sort of short synopsis on what I learned from Lost Connections by Johann Hari. I'm deciding to actually talk about this book first because this book actually, it changed my entire life in the way that it, make sure my audio is good. My audio is good, right? It changed my entire life because of the way that I viewed depression and anxiety after reading this book. So I'm going to just dive right into it on what I actually took away from this book, some of the key points. So one of the first key points from Lost Connections, in the very beginning of the book, Johann Hari goes into talking about SSRIs, which are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which is what they use to treat depression and anxiety today in a lot of people, which inhibits neurotransmitters. You can research what SSRIs are if you're more interested. I'm not going to talk about that specifically. But I am going to talk about really quick that some of the research that he touches on about like drugs and stuff, and how there's a lot of research out there about how these SSRIs work and how they don't work. And, he says over and over again that if these are something that you use that help you, by all means, keep taking them. And, obviously, if something's helping you, you don't want to stop taking it. And if you take antidepressants and they're helpful for your day-to-day life, like, you should absolutely keep taking them. The main takeaway for this book, though, is that there are other solutions that actually treat your true causes of depression and anxiety. And essentially, what the book, the broad synopsis of this novel is that depression and anxiety are, side effects of things that you're missing or disconnected from in your real life. And I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. Like, I read this book once and it was like a year ago. And I started to read it again at one point and then got sidetracked.
And it doesn't actually matter what the disconnections are. I will tell you that one of them is like disconnection from nature, disconnection from meaningful work, disconnection from participating in a group. The examples are obviously really important if you want to restructure your life, or maybe do some self-reflecting on what you're actually missing in your life or disconnected from. However, I think that you can figure that out on your own with just some critical self-awareness, giving yourself enough time during like a meditation phase, or, just truly looking into yourself and asking yourself questions about your life, with things that maybe don't fulfill you. If you're unhappy with your job, which is an entire chapter in this book, this guy realizes that he's depressed because he's disconnected from meaningful work. I think that you can come to that conclusion if, you're showing up to your job every day and you're not happy about it. You are actually physically ill because you feel fulfilled in that thing, Obviously, that's easier said than done, and I do think the whole book is worth reading. But the synopsis is that we are disconnected from certain things in our life, whether it's people, meaningful relationships, meaningful work, nature, whatever. And those disconnections disrupt us. And obviously the spectrum of depression and anxiety is so broad that, I can't say like, oh, you're disconnected from this, so that's probably why you're depressed. I've struggled with depression for almost 4 or 5 years. Some nights, some days are really bad. Other days I'm totally fine. And a lot of the times how I treat my depression is asking myself those questions of what am I disconnected from right now? What is like not being fulfilled in my life? Like, is it, have I not been exercising? Have I not been taking time out to see friends? Have I not been in nature recently? Is my work filling me up? Am I happy about it? So ask yourself those questions and, you find answers. And that's kind of the synopsis of the book. Very generalized. The end of the book is really interesting. The Johann Hari, I don't want to spoil people from reading this book by giving out this information about it, but I'm going to tell you guys because I do think it's fascinating, is that he talks in the end about, what I just talked about, realizing where you're disconnected from. And he talks about getting there through meditation, and specifically gratitude meditation. And gratitude meditation, for those of you that don't know, it's fairly self-explanatory. It's just taking time to meditate and being grateful for things. And then there's another type of meditation that focuses on wishing good unto everyone else in your life. You can start with yourself, sure, if you're feeling that. But the point is to wish good onto everyone else in your life and not you. And even wishing good unto your enemies, which is one of the hardest things to do, is, having somebody that maybe you've butt heads with, really truly wishing them good in their life. But anyway, the end of the book, he talks about how the brain state or whatever achieved in this gratitude and whatever the other type of meditation I said was, in the meditation phases, is really similar to that of taking psychedelics, specifically I think like LSD, which is kind of crazy. I was not expecting that when I was reading the book. I was kind of like, oh, this book was very serious. And he like even says in the book, he's like, just stay with me for a sec, which I thought was pretty funny. But anyway, yeah, I think it's a wonderful read. If you suffer from depression and anxiety, or, any mental illness, honestly, I think that this book is incredible. It talks about depression and anxiety and this guy's own personal journey, struggling with depression and taking antidepressants for 20 plus years of his life, and what it did to him, how he really like found stability again. I found it super informative because I didn't really understand why I was depressed or anxious before. I didn't really get it. And I think that obviously there are some, maybe not obviously, there are genetic predispositions where people can just be more depressed. I've talked to my roommate Tyler about this, that, sometimes people do have the genetic predisposition and they're maybe a bit more susceptible. But that doesn't mean that, that doesn't mean that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, I think the information in this book is helpful to anybody that listens to it or reads it. I listen to it because I listen to audiobooks. I don't really like reading. Maybe I led you guys all on. You thought I was reading these physical copied books, and I just listened. So here I am producing listening content for you. It's all a circle of life. Yeah, I love this book. Thought it was super helpful. It informed me of how I'm so well spoken, of I just said it again, trying to eliminate the use of It informed me of how mental illness could arise in my life and how to mitigate it. And sometimes I think mental illness doesn't make any sense. And you're like, oh my God, why am I feeling so fucking shit right now? And this book helped me answer those questions of why, because sometimes even when you dive into yourself and you ask yourself why, you may not even come up with an answer, because it's so hard to play the investigator role in your life of where you're feeling hollow or, I don't know, an area of your life is unsatisfactory. What's the word for that? It's unmet. Your needs are unmet. So yeah, Lost Connections by Johann Hari. It was a sick read. I hope you guys like it. The guy's British. If you listen to it on Audible, this is sponsored by Audible. No, it's actually not, but Audible, sponsor me. Sponsor me. Let's go. Let's get a freaking sponsorship. Let's get a sponsorship. Yes! Sorry, I have a lot of energy right now. I don't know why. I didn't drink caffeine or anything. But yeah, so Audible, sponsor me. Okay. Have a good night, guys.